What happens when a quiet teenager walks into a bank with a dream, only to be humiliated by those who judge by appearances, unaware that her father, the CEO, is watching every move? It was a crisp autumn morning in Charlotte, North Carolina. The air carried a whisper of approaching winter, and the streets bustled with the usual rhythm of city life. Inside the grand facade of Oaken Summit National Bank, polished floors gleamed under warm lights and gold-lettered signage reflected quiet opulence. The glass doors opened slowly as a young girl stepped in. She was tall for her age, with warm, brown skin, delicate braids, and a calm confidence in her walk. Her name was Jasmine Porter. Just 14 years old, she clutched a navy blue envelope tightly in her hands. Inside was a scholarship check awarded to her for a summer STEM program, one she had earned through pure brilliance and hard work. Jasmine walked to the reception desk, her voice polite and steady. "Hi, I'd like to deposit a check." The receptionist, a young woman named Courtney, barely glanced at her. "You have an account here?" "Yes, under Jasmine Porter." "My dad opened it." Courtney sighed and motioned toward the line for customer service. "Fill out a deposit slip and wait there." Jasmine did as she was told, careful and precise. But as she stepped up to the counter, her day took an unexpected turn. Behind the glass sat Victoria Hayes, the branch manager, a sharply dressed woman in her early 40s, known for her efficiency and her judgment. Victoria glanced at the check, then at Jasmine, her brows furrowed. "Where did you get this check?" she asked flatly. "I won a scholarship," Jasmine replied. Victoria squinted at the paper. "For $5,000. At your age?" Jasmine nodded, still calm. "It's for a science program at Duke University." Victoria leaned back in her chair, folded her arms, and said just loud, enough for others to hear, "Uh-huh. And I'm the Queen of England." A chuckle echoed from another employee 2 desks over. Jasmine's face flushed. She gripped the envelope tighter. "I'm going to need to verify this with our fraud department," Victoria said, standing. "Please take a seat. This might take a while." As Jasmine moved to the waiting area, eyes followed her. Whispers grew behind desks. No one offered her reassurance. But what none of them knew was that she was not alone. Sitting quietly in the far corner, behind a tall plant and a financial magazine, was a man in a grey wool coat, watching everything unfold with sharp, unreadable eyes. His name was Leon Porter, President and CEO of Porter Strategic Holdings, a firm that had just completed a discreet majority acquisition of Oaken Summit National Bank. And more importantly, he was Jasmine's father. Leon had arrived unannounced. He wanted to see the bank's service in its rawest form and make a quiet visit to surprise his daughter after her proud deposit. But what he saw instead tightened his chest. His daughter humiliated. The staff cold. The environment poisoned. He didn't move yet, because what he was about to do next would change the bank forever. The line between observation and action is razor thin, and for Leon Porter, it's about to snap. Leon sat motionless, his face unreadable, but his heart pounding. Every moment that passed chipped away at the control he worked so hard to maintain. Across the room, his daughter sat with her hands folded in her lap, eyes lowered. She wasn't crying, not Jasmine, but Leon knew her well enough to see what others missed. The shifting of her fingers, the tightened jaw, the silence that meant she was burying something deep. Victoria Hayes paced behind the teller counters, check in hand, loudly whispering into a phone while glaring back at Jasmine, as if daring her to run. A few employees had gathered near the desk. One shook their head. Another snickered. Leon had seen enough. He stood. It wasn't dramatic. It was calm. But the air shifted the moment he did. He approached the counter, slowly unbuttoning his coat. Victoria glanced up, annoyed. "Sir, I'm in the middle of something," she said quickly. "Oh, I know," Leon replied evenly. "Believe me, I've been watching." His voice had weight, not loud, just firm, controlled, and familiar, one some employees recognized from investor calls and corporate town halls, a voice that carried authority without having to announce itself. Victoria's smile flickered, her posture straightened. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Are you here to speak with someone? Leon looked at her, then down at the check still in her hand. That belongs to my daughter, he said. Gasps. Visible confusion spread across the floor. A junior teller dropped a pen. Your daughter, Victoria stammered. Yes, Leon replied, his tone now frosted steel. The same young lady you've mocked, humiliated, and accused of fraud in front of half your branch. Jasmine looked up, her eyes wide. Victoria's voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't know. That's the point, Leon said. He turned to the staff now frozen in place. You didn't know who she was, and because of that you decided she was no one. You treated her like she didn't belong. You assumed the worst, and you did it loudly, proudly, and without an ounce of professionalism. Silence. No one spoke. Leon stepped closer. This bank, he continued, was recently acquired by Porter Strategic Holdings. I am the CEO of that firm, which means I own controlling interest in everything that happens inside these walls. Victoria's eyes widened. Her hands trembled. And what I witnessed today, Leon said, turning to Jasmine and offering her a hand, is the exact opposite of the values I expect this institution to uphold. He took Jasmine's hand and helped her to her feet. Her shoulders straightened as she stood beside him. Victoria Hayes, he said firmly. You're suspended effective immediately. HR will be in touch within the hour. Security will escort you out. Victoria opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Just a whisper of breath and disbelief. Leon turned to the stunned employees. For the rest of you, he said, if you have ever made someone feel smaller for simply walking through those doors, those days are over. Effective today, we are rebuilding from the ground up. Training, evaluation, new leadership. And if you cannot uphold a culture of respect, there will be no place for you here. He turned to Jasmine. Let's go, sweetheart. As they walked toward the door, the receptionist who first spoke to Jasmine stood up. Ms. Porter. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be short with you. Jasmine stopped. She looked at the woman, calm and steady. Now you know how it feels, she said. Don't let someone else feel it tomorrow. She walked out beside her father, chin high, into the morning sun. Justice isn't just about punishment. It's about transformation. And Leon Porter wasn't done yet. 2 weeks had passed since the morning Leon had walked out of Oaken Summit Bank with his daughter beside him. But the echoes of that moment still lingered like a thunderclap through every corridor of the building. Victoria Hayes had been officially terminated after a swift internal investigation, which revealed not only her treatment of Jasmine, but a pattern of discriminatory behavior toward customers and staff. 3 other employees resigned quietly soon after. The rest waited, wondering what came next. What came next was Leon Porter. He returned, not in silence, but with intention. This time he wore the tailored navy suit with the subtle Porter crest on his cufflinks. This time he was announced. And this time every employee stood when he entered the branch. But Leon wasn't there for appearances. He had come with a plan. He gathered the remaining staff in the main lobby, not behind closed doors, but out in the open. Jasmine was there too, seated quietly in the front row, a silent reminder of why they were all there. Leon took the floor. Some of you might be wondering if we're done cleaning house, he began. Let me be clear. This isn't about a few firings. This is about culture, about how we treat people when no one's watching, about the way we choose to lead. He paused, making eye contact with every single person. You work for a bank, he continued, but what you really manage is trust. Every time someone walks through those doors, they are entrusting you with their future, their family, their dreams. And you cannot do that job well if you don't see people clearly. The room was still. Leon went on to announce a sweeping initiative. Every employee would attend empathy and inclusion training. A new anonymous reporting system was launched for both customers and staff. Quarterly feedback sessions were introduced, not just from above, but across departments, and every new hire would now be required to participate in a customer service simulation program that included scenarios based on Jasmine's experience. He wasn't just changing protocol, he was changing people. When he finished, Leon turned to Jasmine and nodded. She stood, approached the front of the room and, though her voice trembled slightly, spoke. "I didn't want to become the center of anything," she said. "I just wanted to do something I was proud of. But if what happened to me helps someone else get treated better next time, then maybe it's okay that it happened. Just please don't. Forget what it felt like to be on the other side of the counter." Applause didn't erupt. It began slowly, quietly, sincerely. And then it grew, not out of obligation, out of understanding. And from that moment forward, the Birmingham branch of Oaken Summit wasn't just another bank. It was the one with the CEO who listened, with the girl who spoke, and with a staff that finally remembered what respect felt like and how powerful it could be. Some legacies are built in boardrooms. Others are shaped in silence, in courage, and in the way we rise after being looked down upon. 3 months later, the Birmingham branch of Oaken Summit National Bank looked the same on the outside. But inside, everything had changed. The tone, the energy, the respect. Customers of every background were greeted with genuine warmth. New hires came in with open hearts and fresh training. Staff who had once kept their heads down now stood taller, empowered, to speak up, to support one another, to lead by example, and at the core of it all, a young girl's voice, and a father who refused to let it be ignored. Jasmine Porter had become more than just a customer that day. She became a catalyst. Leon never sought credit. That wasn't why he did it. But change speaks loudest in the quiet months that follow the storm. On a chilly afternoon in December, Jasmine returned to the bank, not to deposit a check. This time, she was invited. Leon had organized a community forum at the branch, a new quarterly tradition. The idea was simple: bring customers and employees together to listen, learn, and share stories that reminded everyone why this work mattered. The room was full. Local business owners, retired teachers, single parents, students, all gathered in the same place, not for money, but for connection. Jasmine stood at the front, slightly nervous, holding a note card but barely looking at it. "A few months ago, I came here excited about a scholarship I earned. I left feeling like I didn't deserve it. That day hurt. But what came after? That's what changed everything." She looked toward her father, who stood in the back, arms folded, eyes filled with quiet pride. "I don't think anyone wakes up wanting to be cruel. I think sometimes we just forget to see people fully. We forget to pause, to ask, to listen. And if what happened to me helped even one person feel seen since then, I'm okay with that." There was a pause. Then a standing ovation. Not because she demanded it, because she had earned it. As the event wrapped up, Leon pulled Jasmine aside. "You were amazing," he said. She smiled. "Thanks, Dad. But next time, you're speaking first." He laughed. "Deal." As they walked out of the building together, the new branch manager, a young black woman named Angela, whom Leon had personally promoted, held the door. "Thank you, Mr. Porter," she said. "But more importantly, thank you, Jasmine." Jasmine nodded. "Let's just keep going, that's all I want." Leon looked up at the building, still made of brick and glass, still busy with people. But now, it was more than a bank. It was a symbol. That kindness isn't weakness, that respect isn't optional, and that sometimes the strongest voices come from the ones who are almost silenced.